Hello, good morning, everybody. How is everyone doing this morning? Good morning, Denise and Teresa and Tara and Marcy. Hey, Tony. Okay, so this morning we are going to talk about taking time for you. And I feel like, especially as women, we have a hard time doing this. And so this morning mindset session is really all about kind of revisiting this and just talking about it. Why do we feel as women that it's selfish for us to take time for ourselves? Why do we feel like that has to be the last thing on the list instead of making it a part of our daily lives? And so I have some key points to go over with you this morning that are really just going to talk about the importance of taking time for you. And then I have a devotional that I want to share with you as well. I was reading through this morning, and you can see like my little tabs in here. There's so many good ones. I want to share them all, but I flipped to this one, and it was talking about just enjoying the ride. And I was like, okay, that's going to be what we talk about today, because truly when we talk about taking time for yourself, it's about taking time for you. It's about enjoying that time, enjoying the process. It's all the things like I say all the time. Just enjoy the time of creating. Don't look to the finish line. You're not in a race. This is not about who's getting there first and look at what she's doing over here. And we're going to talk about all those things. The importance of taking time for you and the benefits that can give you, but also the importance of not comparing yourself to others, because that is a trap that, we fall into as humans. I think it's human nature to look and compare. But comparison is the thief of joy. And, this paint week is all about joy. It's about expressing that. It's about painting. It's about being together and us celebrating the gift of getting to create. So we are going to talk through some points. Let's see. I have 7 topics that we're going to talk about this morning in regards to taking time for you. So I want to just remind everyone, you don't need permission. You don't need perfection. You don't need an audience. You are worthy of showing up for yourself. And it's important. It's very important for you to take care of yourself. This isn't about impressing anybody else. This is about escaping the chaos and creating that time for you to heal, that time for you to breathe and just be. I think especially in the world that we live in right now, everything is go, 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 go. Instant gratification. We want it right now. I want results right now. And we struggle with just being in the moment. So I want us to all kind of take a breath. If that sounds like you, let me know in the comments. Like, does that sound like something you struggle with? The constant rat race, the constant, I've got to get all this stuff done. But how much time are we really slowing down and actually enjoying our lives and finding those peaceful moments, finding those moments to just be us? God created each one of you uniquely, and he doesn't want you looking at the rest of the world and comparing yourselves to them. He wants you to be you. And I think there's something special about when we do slow down enough to get to know ourselves better, to get to know him better, to have that quiet time. That quiet time can be many things for many people. It can be therapy. It can be your time with God. It can be just your time to step away. And I just don't think we do enough of it. We numb ourselves. We say that we're relaxing when we're scrolling, when we're vegging out and watching hours of Netflix. And I'm saying that as in, like, I'm guilty of it. I totally do that sometimes. But that's not the same as quiet time. That's not the same as taking time for you to slow down and focus on you. Self-care is like taking care of the soul, taking care of you as the person. So we're just going to go over those things. So the first one is that art, painting, creating, this is a form of self-care. You're not numbing out, you're not vegging out, you're not doing anything. You're creating. And creativity isn't selfish. It's taking care of you. So when you make time for space, you make space for let me get this right. When you make space for art in your life, then you're also making space for yourself. Okay. So, like, and I highly encourage this. You guys are going to be sick of me saying it by the end of the week, but having a sketchbook, having your mixed media pad, having some just basic, art supplies, to where if you are feeling stressed out, taking that 10 minutes to just slow down enough and be like, I'm going to turn the phone off. I'm going to turn my notifications off. I do this very often throughout my workday because I'm like, I just need to breathe when life gets crazy. And I will grab watercolors or pencils or whatever I have, and I'll just sketch and I'll paint. And it doesn't mean I'm creating something. I'm not trying to create a piece of art. And I think there is, there is some confusion around that. I think when people think, if you're going to be an artist or if you're creative, you have to create these finished pieces of art that you can hang on the wall and be proud of. That's great if that happens, but that's not why we create. We're not creating for the finished product. And I know for some of you, you're like, well, yeah, we are. We want to do that painting. And I get that, but I want you to fall in love with the process of painting and the healing and the therapy that can come along with that. Because even just taking that 10 minutes to slow down and do something like that, it can ground you, it can recharge you, and it just kind of gives you like a reboot. And then kind of following up with that, not everything you create do you need to share. Again, this is like your journey. And I talk about that. I wear that hat all the time. Enjoy your journey. Yours, not hers, yours. What are you doing this for? Every piece of art doesn't need to be seen or praised. It can just be for you. And we did art journals a couple years ago in Tribe. And you can do it with your mixed media pad, or you can get a specific journal. But it's just slowing down enough to, just as you would write in a journal, you can write and then you can doodle. I mean, I don't know about you guys, how many of you used to doodle in high school or all the years of school? I could never sit through a class while a teacher was talking without drawing on my paper at the same time. And sometimes that helped me focus. Like, I'm like, I hear everything you're saying, but I got to do something while you're doing that. And it's okay to just take that time and, slow down and do that. Take the pressure off. You're not making a finished piece of art. You're just having fun, letting things out on the paper. And number 3 is creating is an act of self-worth and self-expression. So your creativity is a reflection of your creative spirit. And, I talk about that a lot too, is like God gave us each creativity. He didn't only bless it to some people. There are some people, I do believe, who are naturally more gifted artistically, but I believe that all of us are creative. And some of us, again, we don't slow down long enough to find that part of ourselves. And that's what I have seen, over these last 8 years in Tribe. That more than anything is what I have seen is women come in and they think they're coming in to learn how to paint. And initially that is obviously that's why you watch my videos. That's why you follow me, is because you like painting, you like being creative, right? But then you start coming in and you're like, okay, I copied, her artwork. I did that lesson, but it becomes more about finding yourself in the process, that each one of us is unique and each one of you has a different style. And I love seeing that the longer, the Tribe Sisters, the members are with me inside of Tribe, and the more confidence that they build, I see that coming out in their self-expression. Like, they've taken the time to slow down and connect, and they're like, oh, wait, I am creative. I didn't know I could do that. I didn't know I could paint. I didn't know I could draw. Because how many of you so many of you have said it to me. I can't draw a stick figure. I can't paint that. If you're not going to give us a traceable to put on there, there's no way I can do this painting. These are like all lies that you tell yourselves. And then if you just trust, if you just like step out in fear, take the leap, do the thing. Remember, action stops fear. So if you take the action and you start creating, you tap into that side of yourself that it was there all along. You just didn't know it because you didn't slow down long enough to tap into it. And so this is really where I want like your mindset to go when you sit down to create, is like, you're creating, this is your self-expression. It's not about copying, my painting exactly the way I did it, or getting that brush stroke exactly the way I got it. I'm not going to see your piece of art. I'm not going to judge that brush stroke. This is for you to enjoy creating and learning and playing. And when you get in that kind of creative spirit, that's where things like will really start changing for you. That perfectionism that we talked about on day one, it may take repeated lessons with me and more sessions like this to, help that like stay in your brain. It's not about being perfect. It's just about making progress. And I love this because, and I talk about this, like, even when we like simple things, like even when we're mixing our colors, no one else can make that exact color that you just mixed. No one else is going to get that exact ratio of those paints the way that you did it, right? Like, you're creating these own unique colors. And so therefore your painting is your own unique painting, and it has pieces of you in it. And I feel that, like, when I like look at my art, that's what I feel, is like, those are like emotions coming out in color onto a canvas. And it's the same for you. Those are all little pieces of you when you're painting. So just remembering like that you matter, that it's important to take the time for you. It's important to find that part of yourself, because I know each one of you have it. I know that each one of you are creative. But this week, hopefully, we're tapping into that a little bit more. You're starting to loosen up. You're starting to have fun. You're starting to trust me and trust this process. And like, oh my gosh, I can do these things. So we want to stay in that mindset. Number 4 is letting go of the shoulds. You don't have to finish it. You don't have to love it. You don't have to make something perfect. Like, these are things that we set in our brains, the shoulds. This is my to-do list. This is what I have to do. This is the assignment. I have to check it off the list. And, I talked about this with multiple paintings of mine, but I talked specifically about the irises one that I was kind of like done with. I was like, I'm not feeling this. I don't have, whose deadline am I doing this for? No one's hovering over you, telling you have to do something. If you're not feeling that painting, then lay it down and move on to something else. But by no means, this goes back to a Van Gogh quote, by no means quit painting. Like, it's okay to not love something that you did. It's fine. It's okay for it to not be perfect. It's about you releasing those expectations and releasing those shoulds. I should do this, and just learning to enjoy the process, enjoy the journey, enjoy the beginning, the messy middle, the end, and then all through those points. I want you at each point of a painting that you're working on, or maybe just painting in your journal or your mixed media pad, to just focus on your accomplishments along the way, because we're talking about progress, right? Progress, not perfection. I want you to focus on, I'm learning something new. And then if you do keep it in a mixed media pad, it's so satisfying to go back and like look at your growth and look at everything you've learned. You can flip pages and you're like, oh, here's where I mixed a bunch of colors. I never thought I could mix colors before, and now I can. I have confidence in that because I understand the color wheel. Like, little things like that, to like nailing a brush stroke or learning how to do the palette knife. It may take practice. It may take several pages. It may take several paintings to really feel like you get it, but that's okay. Like, let's start falling in love with the learning instead of falling in love with the result. Okay. I love this, this last bullet point that I have on here is, art becomes so much more powerful when it's not tied to productivity and approval. And I'm going to read that again. Art becomes so much more powerful when it's not tied to productivity or approval. And I think this is especially hard for someone like in my position. When I make a piece of art, I'm obviously like, I hope they like it. I'm going to post this. And what if it flops? Or what if I do this workshop and I'm in love with this painting and I put it out into the world and other people don't like it? And it was harder in the beginning years, especially being online. It was really hard when I was in college. It was super hard because I remember being the like, okay, so it was like the big fish in the little pond in high school. Like I was one, like there were like two of us who were creative in high school and were like the artists, right? And I mean, I was good. I wouldn't say I was great, but I mean, it was my passion, and everyone knew I loved art. And then I went to college, and I was like, oh no, I am not as good as these people. Like these are like the real artists, right? Like these are like the real deal. Like, holy cow, look what she can draw. And I started getting in my head about everything, like everything. I doubted myself. I doubted whether I was good enough to do this. And everything that I did was centered around approval of my other classmates, approval from my teacher. And I was just like, I mean, you guys know this, what I'm going to say now. I wish I could have told myself back when I was 19 and 20, like, this doesn't matter. Like, just like enjoy it, like, have fun that you're getting to do it. But I felt so much pressure to be perfect. I can't, like, I had a 4.0 in high school. Like I was a good student. I did all the right things. And I think like then it was like I hit this moment in college and I was like, I don't know. I don't know if I belong here. I don't know if I can do this. And then some of you know this story and some of you are new to me and you may not, but I finally, I mean, it's a couple years into college in art school before you actually get to take painting 101. And I mean, I was like, finally, I'm getting to take this class. And it didn't go as well as I thought it was going to go. And keep in mind, I had good grades and I like never had a C in my life. And I got a C in my painting class. And I mean, basically my teacher was just like, I don't know if this is like really your thing. And it just crushed me. So the reason I share that is because what if I would have let that one grade, what if I would have let that one teacher, one person who didn't believe in me, who didn't think I was good enough, what if I would have let that stop me back then? I mean, none of this would be happening right now. I wouldn't be teaching all of you right now. I wouldn't have I would have stopped. And I did for a while. Corey ended up graduating that next semester and we moved to Dallas. And I didn't get to continue art school there. And I took many years off. I went into retail management. And I mean, it was probably like a good 8 years that I didn't really create art. I just stopped because I was just like, maybe that wasn't what I was supposed to do. And then I became a mom and had the girls. And after having all three girls and doing side gigs and doing, having my own business and doing all the things, I still did creative stuff. And I was a businesswoman and did things, but I was not fulfilled. And I just felt like God was just calling me back here. Sorry, I had no idea I was going to tell this story. He was calling me back to taking time for me again, exactly what I'm telling you guys to do right now. And you can't let comparison, you can't let what people say, you can't let the outside world change what you know you have inside of you. And he finally just kind of brought that back to me. And then the second time, after I had the three girls and I went back to finish my college degree, and I was in my 30s at this time, and it was completely different. I mean, obviously, I was a different person and I was more mature and I felt like I knew myself better and I trusted myself better. I trusted my choices and my artistic voice. I started finding that because I treated the way I came at art differently. I was no longer doing it for the approval of my teachers or for my classmates. I was doing it for me. This was a piece of me that was missing. And so ultimately, like, that was all I cared about, was like, I have to make art. Like, I have to make art because that's the way that God designed me. Like, it is literally a part of who I am. And if you've been to my studio, I think you can feel that when you walk in here. And I'm so thankful that I have this space because, I mean, it makes me, I have this picture. Where did I put it? Hold on. So I have this picture of me. It's not a picture. It's a painting. I have this painting of me as a little girl. I don't know why it's so fuzzy. Probably some filter I have on here. I don't know. But anyways, I painted this little painting of myself when I was 17, when I was in high school. And I keep her kind of like yesterday when I was talking about find that childlike part inside of you. This is her for me. And my favorite rainbow sweater that I wore all the time. And I love that picture. And I keep it in my office because it is a reminder for me that that little girl dreamed of this and dreamed of having, that was all I wanted to do. All I wanted to do, if you asked me when I was a little girl, all I wanted to do was to be an artist. And I was obsessed with Van Gogh. I studied him my entire life. And anyways, that was all I wanted. And so now I'm here and I've only had this studio space for a couple years now. And now it feels like such a part of me. I told Corey the other day, I'm like, I can't imagine not having the studio. Like, I can't imagine not having it. I can't imagine not having a space where, I mean, this is kind of like this is my office. This is my quiet room and it's very calming colors in here. But the rest of my studio is like pink and teal and green. And, it's like all the bright colors. And it's like my space to just feel joy and happiness. And, it's a complete mess upstairs, the best kind of mess. Like it's all my creative brain out everywhere. But I look at it as like, this is like my personality all over these different things, right? And it's like I finally allowed myself that space that I want you guys to allow for yourselves. You don't need a big studio like me. You're not teaching, you know what I mean? Like, but allowing yourself space, whatever that is, to create, to tap into that artist that you are, to tap into that voice that you have. Because when you do finally tap into it, and when you stop trying to get approval from others and you stop making art to make other people happy and you make art to make you happy, there's a shift. Your art becomes better. That's why I love that statement. Art becomes so much more powerful when it's not tied to productivity or approval. And it is. If you can take nothing else away from today's session, I want you to take that away from it, for us to get back to the point where we're not doing it for approval, but we're doing it for ourselves, and to tap into finding that creativity that's inside of all of us. So I'm so sorry I went on that tangent and I started crying, and again, had no intention of doing that, but it does kind of tie into my next point too, which is what I've already talked about, is comparison is the thief of joy, specifically creative joy. Again, why do I have the hat that says trust your journey? Why am I wearing a shirt today that says dream without fear? Because like these are statements, they're not just like sayings. Like these are statements that like this is like my core belief. like you have to learn to stay in your lane and enjoy your journey and not get sidetracked by what is going on around you. Your journey is not supposed to look like anybody else's. Wouldn't that be sad if there was just a bunch of duplicates of me walking around doing all the same thing? How boring would that be? I talked about this on the day of like being perfect. When we think about being perfect, how boring to be around a bunch of perfect people. How boring to live in a world where everyone just created the exact same thing. Yuck. Like, I don't want to live in a world like that. And thank goodness we don't. Like that to me is the beauty of art. And that to me is like the beauty of like being comfortable enough with yourself that you don't feel like you need it. This is not about competition. And I mean, most of you know this, but I mean, I have a big circle of creative friends. We could all look at each other as competition. We're all in the same field. We all teach art in one way, shape, or form. We don't compare ourselves to each other. We don't compete and say, what can I do so I can be better than her? We cheer each other on. I'm so thankful for my other creative friends. And I'm like, we all, and especially when we all get together on our trips, and because we're all creatives, just like all the ideas that come out and that creative energy, like, and you can tell like each one of us has like our own unique artistic style. And it's fun how we put our own spin on things. Like that's the beauty of it. It doesn't need to be, I'm better than her and she's better than me. Like, let's take that out of here, right? This is all, tribe is all about support and encouragement and cheering each other on, not jealousy, not envy, not comparing. Like that's not what we want to do. So remember, your journey is yours alone. I want you to, with each session you sit down to paint, I want you to focus on your growth. I want you to focus on your expression. I want you to focus on your own pace. I say this all the time in tribe, but it is, and I'm sorry if this comes across as rude. I don't mean it as rude, but it is a pet peeve of mine when people are just checklisting things to just get through the projects, I did it. It's not about that. You're not going for a finish line, okay? Take your time and slow down and spend some time with your art piece and your painting. It doesn't matter if you finish it today, tomorrow, 2 weeks from now, 2 months from now, 2 years from now. You're on your own pace. And, you know, I have a lot of women who ask, like, they're debating, like, I don't know if I want to be a part of tribe. I don't know if I can take the time for it. I'm going to fall behind. I can't keep up. You guys, that's not what it's about at all. When you join tribe, you have all of these things at your fingertips. You have lots of choices. You can start wherever you want. You don't have to start with the painting that I'm teaching next week. You could go straight to the vault and pick any painting you want to. And that's the beauty of it. Everyone is working on their own thing. And for some people, they may have several hours a day they get to create. Other people may only get to do it once a week or on the weekends. Everyone is on their own pace. And so again, it doesn't need to be a comparison. It doesn't need to be, and Pauline, I'm only using you because you know, I've known Pauline for 5 years and I can. It's not like Pauline's in the group and someone's like, well, Pauline's already done 5 paintings this week. I might as well just quit because I can't do 5 paintings every week. Like that's not what it's about. It doesn't matter. Okay. So I'm really like trying to drill that through your head, your own pace, your journey, nobody else's. I have a path for you to follow and tribe to help you become a better artist, doing the things that we do each month, tapping into the vault, doing the contest. But those are for you to do if you feel like you can do that right now at your own pace. You pick and choose what you want to do. But I will say this, carve out the time for yourself, just like what we're talking about today. It's about taking time for you. And so many of us will say, I don't have time for that. But we also know that's not true. We have to make time. You have to make time for you. You have to show up for you. You have to put yourself in the calendar. You put everything else in the calendar, but you don't put time for yourself in the calendar. And again, what did we already talk about today? Like, that's not selfish, it's self-care. It's self-healing for your soul. So don't leave that out of the calendar. That clearly is a very important thing to take care of ourselves, so that, again, we can be the best version of us, so that we can pour into others. If we're always drained, if we're never doing anything to fulfill us, how are we supposed to keep on taking care of others at the same time? And then again, kind of going back to the comparison, being the thief of joy. Remember that there's no right way to be an artist. And I tease about this a lot because I have some students who are like, tell me I'm doing it right. Like, is this right? Is that exactly? And I'm like, it's okay. That's yours. Yours isn't going to look exactly like mine. I'm going to show you the steps that I take. There are some art fundamentals, right, that I teach. These are guidelines that every artist learns if you go to art school. So there are some general guidelines, rules of thumb, if you want to say that, but there's no actual right way. And I've had people in the past be like, that's not how you do that. And you didn't put a wash on your painting, so that's not a real, like, oh, what are you talking about? Like, that kind of stuff. Also, like, hoity-toity people who think they know the right way to do art. I'm like, we don't need to have a conversation. Like, I'm good. There's no right way. This is about you finding your own creative voice. Number 6, remembering that creativity can be a gentle escape. Okay. A step away from the world. Your art table is your refuge. It doesn't ask you anything. It has no expectations of you. It just wants you to show up. I love that. Let your creativity be the calm in the chaos. Let it bring you back to yourself, kind of like what we were talking about before. Tap into you. When's the last time you just spent time with you? And I think for some of us, we're like, I don't know. Make that time. Make that time to do something for you. This isn't about output. It's not about producing something. It's about being present in that moment. And the last one, number 7, you do not need permission. You already have what it takes to do this. You were made to create. You were made to express. You were made to explore. You were made to play and experiment. And it's a gift that God gave us. He gave us the gift of creativity. And so I feel like that's a dishonor to him to not tap into it, to not use it. He gave that to us as a part of our independence, our voice, our uniqueness. And so why would we not want to tap into that and like find out more about that side of ourselves? You don't have to have any experience. There's some of you who are like, yeah, but it looks like people in tribe, like they already know what they're doing and maybe they've painted with you before. And that's not at all true. We have people in tribe at every single level along the way. Absolutely new beginners, intermediate, and they've been painting for a while, advanced, and they're selling their work or teaching paint parties, or maybe none of those things, but they're just a really good artist. Linda, who is in our group, is just an amazing artist. Like from the moment she came, she's been in for years, and she had her own style coming into tribe. But here's the cool thing she does. And Marcy, I'm going to pull you into this too. You two always pop into my heads. I teach the painting, right? And I show them the steps. But Marcy and Linda, every time I see their finished painting, I'm just like, I just love it. Like, it's so, like, it's still like technically like my design, they followed my steps, but they clearly have their own style that is completely different than mine. And I love it. And they make it their own, and it has their personality in it. It doesn't look like Christy's painting. It looks like Linda's painting, and it looks like Marcy's painting. And that is just like a really cool thing to see. And it's one of my favorite things, especially when I do like in-person events. And when I used to do them all the time, everyone's learning the same painting, right? And then everyone holds them up at the end. Every one of them is uniquely different, but yet they're all the same. And I love that, because that's just a glimpse of showing you like we all have our own unique style. And a lot of you are like, but how do I find it? Like, I don't know how to find that. You find it by doing. You find it by being a part of something like Tribe and pushing yourself outside of your comfort zone and trying new things. And then as you start doing that, you're like, oh, I really like this, or I really like that, or I'm really good at this one thing. Like you start learning and you start finding your voice. So, I mean, we're just going to wrap up with, it's just about taking time for you, seeing what flows from your soul onto that page, onto that canvas. And again, I say this all the time, like turn some music on, like whatever you need to do to tap into that calmness, right? And maybe music, you may want to show on in the background while you create. I mean, I do different things, but you guys know I listen to music all the time. And for me, music and painting just go together. And it may be even from back when I was in art school, we used to have to do like some lessons where we had to paint to the, not the beat. I can't think of the word right now, but basically like the tempo, that's what I'm trying to say, the tempo of the song. So if it was fast song, we were painting fast brush strokes. If it was slow song, it was slow and peaceful. So like those slow and peaceful, especially turn on some like meditative music, calming music, whatever it may be, and just kind of paint slow. Just fall in love with just putting paint on paper or putting paint on canvas. And I mean, that's when you start really like tapping into like finding yourself. You give yourself a chance for your brain to relax and decompress and allow other thoughts to go in there instead of that constant to-do list in the world outside. When we block all that out and we just create, you're giving your brain a chance to take a breath, basically. You're tapping into a different part of your brain, and it is sorry, I was just reading a comment and totally distracted me. But you're tapping into your brain. And see, I need to tap into my brain right now. Tapping into your brain and just allowing it to just slow down a little bit. So I hope this was helpful today. I hope it's just a reminder that it is important for you to take time for you. But I almost forgot. We are going to finish with a devotional. Marcy said, taking time for me is such a treat. It took me a while to learn it's okay. Yes, absolutely. It's okay. Okay. So this is the devotional I wanted to share with you guys today. 100 days of less hustle, more Jesus. Okay. So this one's enjoy the ride. You're at the racetrack, a green flag waves, engines rev, cars zoom forward, and then they just drive in circles. What? Someone with no idea what's going on might think, why are they in such a hurry? They're not even getting anywhere. Sounds a lot like the world we live in. People going around and around, just trying to get ahead. But Jesus has some good news for those who follow him. We're free to get off that track. No more need for striving, comparing, or proving our worth. No more exhausting ourselves to gain more just because that's what everyone else is doing. God is doing a new thing, laying out a new road, and it's infinite. It's not about laps and victory. It's about love and discovery. We're free to get out of the rat race and learn to enjoy the ride. I love that last line so much. It's not about laps and victory. It's about love and discovery. Let me jump down to these verses here. So Ecclesiastes 2:24 says, so I decided there is nothing better than to enjoy food and drink and to find satisfaction in work. Then I realized that these pleasures are from the hand of God. For I am now trying to win the favor of people or God, or am I striving to please people? If I were still trying to please people, I would not be a slave of Christ. Galatians 1:10. And I think really what, that verse is talking about specifically is just a reminder for us to not try to please people, not try to please this world, but is what we're doing pleasing to God. All right, so let's finish with this prayer is praise you, Lord, for setting me free from the endless cycle of striving. In you, I have all that I ever need. And just remembering for us to tap into that, tap into ourselves, and remember that this is a journey about you. This is not a journey about anybody else. It's not a journey of what your family thinks about this, or they may think it's silly that you think art is important. Then don't hang out with those people. Like, if you don't have someone in your life who's going to be supportive of your journey in this, then tribe is exactly what you need. I know not everyone has a great support system in their life, and that is sad, but I don't want that to be the reason that you say no to this opportunity. If that is what is going on in your life and you don't have that support system and you don't have a positive influence and you don't have encouragement and support, more reason than ever to become a part of this tribe community that we have created that is like a family. It's friendships, it's support. You're not alone. This journey is about you, but we're all doing it together. This journey is so much more fun when you share it with others. And I am so thankful for all those creative friends that I have that I talked about. I'm so thankful for my tribe, because this would be such a lonely journey doing it all alone. And I'm so glad instead that I am surrounded by hundreds of amazing women who are there to support and cheer you up and give you words of encouragement when you need them. And it's just an awesome thing to be a part of. So if you haven't already, if you are not already a tribe sister, I encourage you to take time this week, look at it, think about it, join us, jump in, and that's it. If you have missed any of the previous mindset lessons or paint lessons, they're all on the hub page. Everything is there for you in one spot, and we send that out to you daily via email. If you are in Tribe, it is in the featured section of our Tribe Facebook group. So everything's in the featured section that you need to know about, and all those links are there for you. So I will talk to you guys soon and see you tonight at 6. Bye.